The eyes of the thoroughbred racing world are focused today on Parks Racing in Bensalem, Pennsylvania. The $1 million Pennsylvania Derby is back from the pandemic hiatus.
Hot Rod Charlie just holds Midnight Bourbon and rattling home his old Mesos. It's Hot Rod Charlie to win.
Louisiana Derby winner Hot Rod Charlie is here.
And they're off at the Cotillion Stakes.
Also back is the $1 million Cotillion Stakes, where one familiar local trainer, John Service, hopes leader of the band can take home the Grade 1 prize against Coaching Club American Oaks winner Maracuja.
And it looked like Maracuja got it.
Those are the headliners, but there is so much more. Nearly $4 million in purses are on the line today as we celebrate a new beginning in the famed horseshoe-shaped winner's circle. Does Hot Rod Charlie have another Derby in him? Can he finally get his first Grade 1? We find out next. It's Pennsylvania Derby Day from Parks Racing.
The biggest racing day of the year in Pennsylvania has arrived. Ideal conditions, sunny skies, temperatures in the mid-70s. Thousands of racing fans are in Bensalem, Pennsylvania at Parks Racing for the running of the $1 million Pennsylvania Derby and the $1 million Cotillion Stakes. 13 races in all with nearly $4 million in purses. Yes, the Grade 1 Pennsylvania Derby, that is the headliner, but the Grade 1 Cotillion, also a $1 million payday for 3-year-old fillies. The fastest race of the day won't be the Pennsylvania Derby, but rather the shorter 6-furlong Grade 2 Gallant Bob Stakes. And we also have the Turf Monster, the only race on the turf today, plus the Grade 3 Greenwood Cup. It's a terrific race card, and we are so glad to have you here with us from Parks Racing. I'm Neil Hartman along with Dick Girardi. And Dick, it's a special day. You've been here many a times here at Parks Racing, but what makes it special for you on this particular day?
Neil, this is really cool because we didn't have the race last year because of the pandemic. I think this is the best card in the history of this racetrack, and keep in mind this racetrack opened in 1974. We got some great races coming up for you.
Yeah, great races, great jockeys, Hall of Fame trainers. 3 of them, in fact, are here at Parks Racing today.
Right, in the Pennsylvania Derby, half of the 8 horses in the field, 4 of them are trained by Hall of Fame trainers, including Steve Asmussen, you see right there. So Steve Asmussen, Todd Pletcher, Bill Mott are 1, 7, and 8 all time on the wins list. You add up their wins, Neil, it's almost 20,000 among the 3 of them. And the money list, they're 1, 2, 4. Todd Pletcher leads, Asmussen second, Bill Mott's fourth. You add up all the money their horses have won in their careers, how about a little more than $1 billion? That's billion with a B.
I'm glad you did the math because I was looking at that and saying, wow, there is some money being earned there by those trainers. So we have a terrific crew here today. We're going to cover everything for you here in the next 2 hours on PHL 17. Let's begin in the winner's circle with Kaiten Bradar, who's with us right now to talk about this wonderful day that we have coming up. Right, Kate?
Well, the start of fall and the Pennsylvania Derby offer an opportunity for some supporting players in the 3-year-old division. Horses who have been knocking on the door in the Triple Crown events, like Belmont Stakes runner-up Hot Rod Charlie, or Preakness runner-up Midnight Bourbon. Well, with a good performance today, they could take on starring roles in the division. And similarly, horses who got a late start or who had some minor setbacks earlier in the season, like Speaker's Corner. Well, a big performance today with $1 million on the line, Grade 1 status, and with the Breeders' Cup just a few weeks away, they could find that timing truly is everything. And the same could be said for the 3-year-old fillies competing in the Cotillion Stakes, certainly an important race as well in its own right. For more on that, let's check in with Maggie Wolfendale.
That it is, Kaiten, and the Grade 1 Cotillion in the last 10 runnings has produced 8 eventual champions. Today, we will not see the current division leader in Malathat, but we will see the 2 fillies that chased her home in Saratoga in the Grade 1 Alabama in Army Wife and Clairiere. Now, the lone horse to hand Malathat a defeat this year, she's here for the Cotillion. That is Maracuja, and she is reunited with jockey Kendrick Carmouche, who sat the summer out with an ankle injury, but he is a local favorite and a member of the Parks Hall of Fame. But speaking of Parks Racetrack, we have a packed house here today, and over in the picnic area is Kelsey Fabian with some of those fans.
Thanks, Maggie. That's right. We are in the Picnic Grove area, and it is perfect weather out here today. We've got so many fans here. They are excited. They are ready to watch the races. We got people of all ages. Let's give you a sneak peek of the crowd we got out here today. Everyone and anyone is here. They've got their coolers, they've got their lawn chairs, they've got food. Some of these people have some crazy food going on. They've got pizzas, pretzels, anything you could want. They're ready to have a great time. They're out here enjoying this weather. And we know they're gonna continue to get pumped up as this show goes on. So I'm gonna send it to you, Chris, and we're gonna check back in here at the Picnic Grove in a little bit.
Hey, Kelsey, thank you so much. Yeah, track announcer Chris Griffin here in the booth, and I'm excited for my first experience in a Grade 1 event. The Derby and the Cotillion is coming at you. 13 races on the card, plenty of wagering opportunities. Some of the best horses in the entire country are here in Bensalem, and we're excited to welcome all these folks, welcome these people back, as we didn't get to run this race last year. Math Wizard winning it 2 years ago, and now we're back here for this exciting race. But 2 $1 million races, the hat giveaway, an exciting day to welcome all the great folks here in Philadelphia. Neil and Dick, it promises to be a fantastic day of racing.
Chris, thank you. And Chris, we welcome you aboard, joining Parks Racing in April, and it's nice to have you aboard. We've got a live race coming up for you. It's the Turf Monster, and it's coming up next.
The Pennsylvania Derby is brought to you by the Pennsylvania Thoroughbred Horsemen's Association. It's fun to see them run. And by the Pennsylvania Horse Racing Association. Want to ride? And by Parks Racing.
So just a beautiful day here at Parks Racing. The call to the post as we are ready for racing here on PHL 17 with the Turf Monster. It is the only race on the turf today, 5 furlongs, a Grade 3 purse of $300,000 for 3-year-olds and upward. And Dick, you have a favorite in this race in Caravel. Tell us about horse number 8.
So yeah, check the field out, Neil. The Turf Monster field. It's just 5/8 on the grass, as you said. The current odds, we see Beer Can Man, the 1 is 5-2. Caratari, the 4 is also 5-2. Our favorite at the moment is the 8.
Right.
Caravel, who's 8-5, and she's a filly. She's a Pennsylvania bred. And Neil, this is 5/8 on the turf. She's run 5/8 or 5.5 on the turf 5 times. You know how many times she's lost? How about 0?
Wow.
She's unbeaten at this distance, and she's partly owned. Recently purchased by Bobby Flay, who is here today, trained by Graham Motion, was trained by Lizzie Merriman for a while. She's still part owner of the horse.
And Caratari is another horse that you like here, the number 4. Tell us about Caratari.
Yeah, Caratari is just solid. Doesn't run bad races. 18 turf starts in his career, 5 wins, 6 seconds. A 5-year-old gelding gives you nothing but good efforts race after race.
So it is a terrific start for us here on race day, Pennsylvania Derby Day here at Parks Racing. And I know that Maggie, for one, likes Fire Crow.
She is interested in the 5 Fire Crow.
But you mentioned Bobby Flay.
There you go.
That's great. Let's go to Maggie right now with Bobby Flay. Go ahead, Maggie.
I mean, when you get the opportunity to talk to celebrity chef Bobby Flay, you take it. And Bobby, you did buy into Caravel 2 starts back when she came up and won the Caress. Talk a little bit about why you wanted to buy into a turf sprinting filly.
Well, I mean, she just showed so much talent. I mean, first of all, I have to give all the credit to Elizabeth Merriman, who bred the horse and trained the horse up until a couple of races ago, and she's still my partner, so that's been really fun. She had not won a graded stakes yet, and we hadn't tried her in a graded stakes yet, and the Caress was the first one, and actually Brad Weisbord identified her, who I've been friends with for decades, and he said, I think she can win a graded stakes, and I think we can then go to the Grade 1 in Woodbine. I was like, sounds good to me. made a deal, and Graham took over the training. She won the Caress, the Grade 3, which was a fantastic race for us to win in Saratoga. And then, ran third in the Grade 1 at Woodbine. She was the favorite that day, and she took the lead, which we were all a little surprised by. We're hoping today that there's some fresh speed, and she has a target.
That seems to be when she does her best running, and cutting back to the 5 furlongs. Do you think that is going to be too short for her, or will, like you said, the speed play out and she can come out that late run?
No, I think actually 5 furlongs is a good distance for her. I think 5.5 is probably her best distance. But again, she needs a trip, of course, and it's a very short race, so she needs to break well, get a good trip, and hopefully have some targets to run on the stretch.
Now, some people may not know that you've been involved in the horse game for quite a while now. Used to watching you grill and make delicious food and go to your restaurants in New York City. But why horse racing?
Oh, I've been involved in this since I've been 15 years old. My grandfather took me to Saratoga when I was 15 years old, and you've heard this story from lots of different people over your career, I'm sure. Saratoga is the thing that catches you, and I've been involved in it for probably 40 years now. I just absolutely love it, and I love the breeding part of it as well. To me, that's the most fun.
And breeding Europeans as well. So, Bobby, best of luck though with Caravel today.
My pleasure, Maggie.
All right, Bobby Flay sending out Caravel here, guys, looking to maybe propel her to the Breeders' Cup.
All right, terrific. Thank you so much. Yes, this is all leading up for the Breeders' Cup. This is why this is such an important day here today for all these horses.
Yeah, no question, Neil. At Del Mar, the first weekend in November, and some of these horses you could see in the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint at Del Mar on November 6th. And Caravel is just so cool. First of all, the fact that she's a PA bred is really cool.
Yeah.
And this race has a great history here at Parks, the Turf Monster. It's been won by some of the best horses ever. Pure Sensation, Chamberlain Bridge, and the Great Ben's Cat. And I know Sal DeBunda is waiting with Caton Berriedar in the pad.
Let's go to Caton right now. Go ahead, Caton.
Sal DeBunda, who is president of the Pennsylvania Thoroughbred Horsemen's Association, and Sal, the horsemen, you, everyone who has helped to see the growth of this day, Pennsylvania Derby Day, have to be ecstatic. And I know it has gotten bigger and better, but could you ever have anticipated what it is today?
No. When I first got involved with here a long time ago, the purse was $250,000, and if we got an out-of-town horse, it was unusual. But this has been great. I'm glad the Pennsylvania Derby, they continue their back. More importantly, I'm glad that racing at Parks is back. God shined on us today and gave us a beautiful day, and I'm really very happy for our horsemen and our fans to be here today.
When you see the depth of the field and you see the fans turning out as they are en masse, you see top horsemen, the best horses in the game pointing, and you see the Pennsylvania breds holding their own throughout the card. There's got to be some satisfaction. What does it mean to have this level of success to both the state and particularly the Pennsylvania program?
Well, we sat down maybe 10 years ago and said we need to get our product to be better for 2 reasons: attract more fans and also put us more on the map with respect to what we have here. And we felt the best way to do that was to find a way to attract the Triple Crown horses and the horses going to the Breeders' Cup, and that's worked out really well.
It has indeed. Congratulations on a big day, and as they are loading into the gate, we will send it back to the guys, as I know Chris Griffin is getting ready for the call.
Thank you very much, Caton. And Sal DeBunda, 2-time Hall of Famer here at Parks, president of the PTHA. I mean, what has he meant for racing
Everything.
Here in Philadelphia and in Pennsylvania?
Yeah, no question. Sal's a huge attribute to the horse racing business around here. He's been a friend for a long time. Huge supporter of everything. He owns horses. As you said, a 2-time Hall of Famer. And when you see TV shows, he's largely responsible for it. He, Mike Bellezzi, and other people with the PTHA.
So let's throw it upstairs right now. Chris Griffin on the call. This is the Turf Monster to start us off.
Admiral Abe to the outside. All in line. All set for the Turf Monster. And they're off. Broken a perfect line. Karatari has asked for speed. There's Fire Crow, and Fire Crow emerges from in between horses. Has got a neck advantage. Karatari to the inside. Admiral Abe is up in the early mix. At the rail, Beer Can Man, 6 of them lined up across the course. Amblin Man is in that mix as well. Caravel is in behind them. Then West Fork. Going to be wide. Hollywood Talent. Battle Station can see them all. They get set to move into the far turn, and they're moving quickly up front. Fire Crow and Admiral Abe 22-3 for that opening quarter mile, and Admiral Abe has put a nose in front of Fire Crow. Caravel is now in third. Beer Can Man is looking for him as Caratari has dropped out of it. Top of the lane, Admiral Abe and Fire Crow. They've been at it. Admiral Abe kicks for home. Fire Crow's got a battle on back. Caravel with late ground to make up in Hollywood Talent. Admiral Abe for a final 1/8 of a mile. Here comes Hollywood Talent. Fire Crow's not done to the inside. 16th to go. Hollywood Talent is coming after Admiral Abe. Hollywood Talent wins the Turf Monster. Hollywood Talent, Beer Can Man flew on late. Also looked like something equipment-wise there with the one. Admiral Abe Fire Crow, 59-2 in the Turf Monster.
So Hollywood Talent takes it in the Turf Monster with Ricardo Santana Jr. on board. Dick, what a finish for Hollywood Talent here in the Turf Monster.
Yeah, it was a huge finish. This is a 10-year-old. This is his 52nd lifetime start. Was claimed a year ago for $8,000 from 10 Strike Racing and Carlos Guerrero. It had great success for them as well. Here's Admiral Abe, who's co-owned by former Sixers general manager Ed Stefanski. What a great claim he's been for Ed, his buddy Bill Conlon and Bobby Mosco. But here comes the 11. Hollywood Talent rolling on the outside for Juan Vasquez. These horses are both stabled here at Parks. They're running 1-2. They beat some of the best turf horses in the country. Admiral Abe's going to hold on for third at the end, it looks like.
So Admiral Abe almost had it there at the finish, and our buddy Ed Stefanski would have had a nice win here.
Yeah, that horse, Neil, they claimed that horse and have made $350,000 with Admiral Abe since the claim. They claimed it for like $25,000. So
wow.
what a score they made.
So Hollywood Talent is the winner here, as we pointed out with Ricardo Santana Jr. there riding home. Hollywood Talent for the Turf Monster. Race number 9. We'll have the official results for you when we come back here to Parks Racing. It is Pennsylvania Derby Day. It's a beautiful day for horse racing. Stay with us.
Racehorses are pampered,
treated with care, and loved.
Nothing is more important than their health and their safety.
We do right by them,
and they do right by us.
the hard-working folks
Who proudly earn our living.
In Pennsylvania's horse racing,
and breeding industries.
Horse racing is a lot of fun.
but it's so much more.
It provides tens of thousands of jobs,
Jobs and billions in economic impact each year.
all across the Commonwealth.
Horse racing in Pennsylvania. It's a winner.
Talk about long odds. Hollywood Talent was 99-1.
Which means he's even more than that. Now, we don't know what the final number is yet because it only goes up to 99. This horse was third of this race 2 years ago behind the great Pure Sensation. But since then, he had no form. You didn't see any indication he would win it. But look, Juan Vasquez claimed him for $8,000, and he just won a $350,000 race. He claimed him a year ago.
So a local horse does
Yep.
well here. And you've been watching Hollywood Talent, and you haven't, nothing indicated to you that we would see this kind of result today.
Yeah, I mean, he had to come back to his prior form. He just didn't have that form recently, Neil. This is, like I said, he's a 10-year-old, which is about as old as horses are when they run. So there was something that suggested he could do this. But most recently, he ran in the Marshall Jenny here, a Pennsylvania bred race. He was fourth, beaten almost 10 lengths by Admiral Abe. So, yeah, why is he winning this race? I don't know, but that's why they run them sometimes, because you get weird results.
So we build up Caravel.
Right.
Bobby
Off the
Flay
board-
on
off
the
the
interview,
board.
out of the money.
Yeah, it turned out that the Parks horses ran 1-3. Admiral Abe gave a huge account of himself. Looked like he was going to win the thing in a stretch. Yeah, I mean, Admiral Abe took what looked like a substantial lead, and what a great claim. We said $25,000 he was claimed for. Again, Ed Stefanski, our buddy, and Bill Conlon, he's won he's won $350,000 since then. He looks like he's home, right? The 12, Admiral Abe, but here comes the 11, the old boy, Hollywood Talent, 10 years old. He goes back into the past, and he gets the money right at the wire. Wins pretty clear, like just over a length.
Yeah, great job by Ricardo Santana Jr., the jockey for Hollywood Talent, and Caton's got him.
Yeah, and Ricardo was just telling me that maybe the course condition had a little something to do with this, but you had some confidence despite the fact that he was 99-1.
Well, this winner mean a lot. And I come when Juan Vasquez, since I was a bad boy. A lot of people don't know I started in Delaware. I was riding everything for him. He made me be a leading jockey over there in 2012. And this win mean a lot to me and you know, win for him, win a few races for him, win his first win in Saratoga, and I'm really blessed to be part of his team.
When you were first starting out, Juan Vasquez was a supporter of yours. And now going forward, Steve Asmussen, someone you're going to be riding for in the big races coming up, the Cotillion as well as the Pennsylvania Derby, Clairiere, and then Midnight Bourbon, has also been a very big supporter of yours now more recently. Talk a little about those two horses that you're going to be reunited with.
Well, I'm really blessed to be part of Steve's team too. He got me since I was 19, 20 years old. He teach me a lot about the races. He teach me how to ride, what is the difference about good horse and claiming races. And I learned a lot from him, and I own him a lot. So I'm really happy for the opportunity that Steve gave it to me, ride at good horses today. And I'm really excited for the races.
Ricardo, congratulations, off to a good start as we look ahead to the big ones. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
And it has been a banner season as well, guys, as Ricardo certainly had a huge summer at Saratoga.
And look what the payoff is. Holy moly, Hollywood Talent was 109-1 at the start. Unbelievable.
Yeah, no, you know, that's the biggest price I ever remember at this racetrack. Beer Can Man came on to be second late. Admiral Abe was a big price himself, finished third. But yeah, you don't see 219-20 every day, Neil. That's why I said it's 99-1, but it's going to be more than that. Right. And as you just said, that's how much more it was.
Boy, there's some happy people out there right now.
Well, if you had Hollywood Talent, you're
for
thrilled.
Sure.
Yeah, no question. I did not have them.
A great start here at Parks Racing for Pennsylvania Derby Day. We still got plenty of racing ahead. Stay tuned.
Welcome back. I'm Kelsey Fabian. We're in the Picnic Grove area of Parks Casino, and we want to hear how much fun the fans are having. We've got the Sioka family in the house. So this is really cool. The Sioka family has a lot of people here today. We've got Barbara. Look at Barbara in this fancy hat.
How do you like it?
Tell us, Barbara, this is a family tradition for you. We want to know.
My grandmother had 15 kids, and we've been coming here, and we are actually the second generation.
We're the second, but
30th birthdays.
How many family members do you have here today?
We have close to 100 family members. Some of them left already, but we are the diehards, and we are ready to keep going.
I love this. This is basically like a family reunion for them. Absolutely love this. And I want to make sure we show this hat. Let's look at this hat. Oh my gosh, did you make this just for this?
Yes, absolutely.
How'd you, hot glue, how'd you make this?
Hot glue. I got the gray horse in the front because my mom loves the gray horse. This is for her.
Love it. So how much fun are you guys having?
Tons, always. We're always having fun.
Since we were little tiny babies.
Yes. I absolutely love that this is a family tradition for you guys. You'll be here until the end?
Absolutely.
And we're gonna stay with you. We'll check back in with you. Neil and Dick, how cool is that? A family reunion happening right here, right now, and a tradition that they do every year. Absolutely love that.
Yeah, with 100 family members, that's a lot of people right there. Dick, they've been running this race since 1979, right. The Derby, the Pennsylvania Derby, and they talked about how they would come back year after year, family tradition. And that's what this is all about, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very cool. It ran on Memorial Day way back when, then Labor Day for a long time, and of course then a decade ago they moved it back, and it's why it's become even bigger than ever right now. $1 million, Grade 1 race, big prep for the Breeders' Cup, and as you said, people have been coming here forever.
And one person we're missing here today is someone near and dear to the horse racing, to the sport in the state of Pennsylvania, and that is Paul Conaway. Paul Conaway passed away last Sunday. Just a person that so many people love so much here at Parks Racing. He was in sales, but his passion was a love for horse racing.
No question. He loved the track and his horses, and we're all thinking of Judy and Paul's family. There's Paul with our buddy Bruce Casella, who makes this show happen every year. He owned Favorite Tale, the brilliant Pennsylvania-bred Neil, who won more than $1 million, trained absolutely wonderfully by Parks Hall of Famer Lupe Preciado. Finished third in the Breeders' Cup Sprint in 2015 behind Run Happy. And I'll never forget, Paul took us all out to dinner Friday and Saturday night in Lexington, and it was such a joy to see him so happy. And we're obviously devastated for his family, but I'm going to remember Paul with that smile on his face watching Favorite Tale run.
Avid Philadelphia sports fan, a larger-than-life personality, and we have lost Paul at the age of 63. So again, our condolences to his family and to everybody here at Parks Racing. Certainly, we miss him here today on this very special day in Bensalem. Back in a moment.
If you want action and you want it now, you got to get the new Parks Racing mobile app. Wager and watch thoroughbred and harness racing from around the world. With the Parks Racing mobile app, it's easy to open and fund your account. Then place your wagers and cheer on your horse as they thunder down the stretch. With the Parks Racing mobile app, you'll easily make withdrawal requests, view the previous day's replays and results. Plus, open any new account now and you'll be automatically enrolled in the Parks Rewards program. The more you wager, the more you earn. Get the new Parks Racing mobile app and get in on the action.
Welcome back to Parks Racing in Bensalem, Pennsylvania. Neil Hartman with Dick Girardi. 2 hours of coverage on the biggest day in racing in the state of Pennsylvania. Our next race is the Gallant Bob Stakes. 6 furlongs, grade 2, purse of $300,000 for 3-year-olds. And Dick, here's the field. It's not a big one.
Now, we got a couple of scratches, Neil. Real Talk, the one is 24-1 currently. Awesome Jerry's 30-1. Pick a Time you see there is 40-1. You're going to see a big favorite here in a second. Baron, the local horse, is 24-1, ridden by Frankie Pennington, trained by Butch Reed. Jackie's Warrior, who has just been flat out brilliant, 2-year-old and 3-year-old, is 1-9 for the Joel Rosario, Steve Asmussen combination. He is the fastest horse in the country, and we get to see him here today. This won't take long, this 6 furlongs.
Our cameras are in the paddock area. We'll be, when the call to the post, we'll have the post parade for you as we talk about each individual horse in this race. Let's talk a little bit about Baron and a local trainer that has Baron.
So Baron is a Pennsylvania bred. He's trained, as I said, by Butch Reed, who just was elected to this year's Hall of Fame class 2021, had last year's 2-year-old filly champion V. Quist, who won the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies, which was Butch's biggest win of his career, and he's had some. And she won the Park Summer Sprint here back on August 24th at 2-5. Won by 6.5 lengths. And Frankie Pennington rides. He's a 5-6-time champion here, dominant. He's closing on 3,000 wins in his career. Frankie had already won one earlier today, as we'll see later. And the 7 is Jackie's Warrior deal, and the heavy favorite. When we're saying 1-9, that means you bet $9 to win $1.
So give me a sense of why. Why such a heavy favorite?
So Jackie's Warrior, Steve Asmussen set the record this year for most wins in North American history, 94-46. He set it August 17th at Saratoga. And Jackie's Warrior won an incredible race at Saratoga later on in the meet. Jackie's Warrior is on the inside. That's Life is Good to the outside, who at that point was undefeated, was trained by Bob Baffert, now Todd Pletcher. But Jackie's Warrior is just tough, Neil. Just digs in. Life is Good. Everybody thought he couldn't lose. But Jackie's Warrior is one of those horses that's so determined in one-turn races, and this was a one-turn race. Jackie's Warrior's run 8 times in one-turn races, 7 wins and a loss by a neck. Steve Asmussen, who desperately wants to win the Derby, right? He was 0 for 21 coming into 2021. He thought maybe this was his Derby horse. He realized pretty quickly as a 3-year-old he wasn't going to be a 2-turn horse. He said, you know what? I'm not going to try something he can't do. I'm back to having him sprint, and he's the best there is right now.
So Jackie's Warrior is who we will be keeping our eye on in the Gallant Bob Stakes. That is coming up, a $300,000 grade 2 stakes race here at Parks. I look at Joel Rosario. Tell me a little bit about Joel Rosario as a jockey and what Joel Rosario can do.
He's had some great years. Yeah. This might be the best one he's ever had, and his agent Ron Anderson's upstairs.
So Maggie right now is with the Barron owner, right? Or no, I'm sorry, with Daniel Montgomery from Turning for Home. Let's check in with Maggie.
And it's such a wonderful program, Turning for Home, and so pleased to be joined here by Danielle Montgomery. And Danielle, since 2008, you have rehomed over 3,200 horses here at Parks, and you kind of paved the way for this communication with the racetrack to finding second homes for these racehorses.
Absolutely. We couldn't have done this without Michael Bellezzi. He had the foresight to see a program that can work. It's funded by the horsemen for their horses, and we're just really proud to be able to facilitate that and have these horses find great homes when they're done here, because these race horses can do anything. They can do barrels, they can do hunters, they can do jumpers, they can be therapeutic riding horses, and we're really privileged to be able to help them find that path.
And Danielle, I even saw a charity event where you brought a horse to downtown Philadelphia.
Yeah, for the Pennsylvania Horse Racing Association, they did a launch. They're trying to promote racing to the youth, to the crowd. I mean, this is a great sport. We love our horses, and we need the youth to come to the races. So they brought the races to them, and we did a benefit at the bar. And we actually had one of our horses. Yeah, he came. He went right into the bar, saddled up to the bar, and you know, it was a great promotion. But you know, Rainbow Valley is a Ed Coletti retiree, and he's done a few different promotional events now because he's just amazing, and these are amazing horses.
Danielle, thank you so much for everything you do, and you are a hero for the horses.
Thank you.
Danielle Montgomery from Turning for Home, and such a wonderful program they have here at Parks. Guys.
Thank you, Maggie. The call to the post as we start with number one, Real Talk.
Yeah, Real Talk won the Jersey Shore most recently. Big at Monmouth Park by 4.5 lengths against the great Paco Lopez with over 3,000 wins.
Number three, Awesome Jerry.
Awesome Jerry, trained by Safi Joseph, Ricardo Santana, who we just saw win the Turf Monster on a horse who was over 99-1. Will ride Awesome Jerry.
Number four, Pick'em Time.
This is a Jersey bred trained by Kelly Breen, who everybody around Monmouth Park knows well. Most recently won a Jersey bred stake at Monmouth Park on the 29th of August.
We have talked about the final two horses in this field, Barron and Jackie's Warrior. Let's start with number 6, Barron.
So Barron, we mentioned, is trained here locally by Butch Reed from a racing family. His older brother Mark is also in the Parks Hall of Fame. Frankie Pennington, we got Parks Hall of Famers all over the place. This horse at Parks, Neil, has started here 8 times at this track, 4 wins, 2 seconds, loves the racetrack.
Current odds at 17-1, and Jackie's Warrior, as we pointed out, heavy favorite to win the Gallant Bob.
So Steve Asmussen's so good, Neil, that once he got this record, the trainer of Jackie's Warrior, he's going to increase it. He wins 400 to 500 races a year. He's closing on 400 this year. He'll increase this record to the point where nobody ever can catch him. And Jackie's Warrior is another one of his great sprinters, and he's had a whole bunch of them in recent years, and this is one of the best.
This is a 6 furlongs, grade 2, purse of $300,000 for 3-year-olds. We will have the race for you when we come back here on PHL 17. Well, here are the updated odds, and boy, all we have to really point out is number 7, Jackie's Warrior.
Yeah, 1-9, Neil, and I'm looking at the pools at the moment. There's $147,000 in the win pool. Jackie's Warrior's got $122,000 of that. That's where those odds are determined. And in the show pool, means she's got to finish first, second, or third. There's $333,000 in the show pool. $320,000 of that money is on Jackie's Warrior.
So let's talk about Barron a little bit more with Frankie Pennington aboard. The current odds again now at 15-1. We've talked about Barron being with a local trainer, but talk a little bit about Barron.
Right, so Barron, again, when he's here at Parks, and he ran here most recently on August 24th in the Parks Summer Sprint, and this is Barron in front here, and you can just see, he's up by maybe 3 lengths at this point. Well, it's going to get to 6 lengths by the finish. I mean, he just runs away and crushes this field. And look, if there is a challenger in here for Jackie's Warrior, it is Barron, but he would have to improve by about 5 or 6 lengths to challenge a horse as good as Jackie's Warrior. But he's a neat horse. Butch Reed has won some big ones. this would be right up there. Wouldn't be the Breeders' Cup, but it'd be really cool to win the Gallant Bob here.
So that was about a month ago when
Correct.
that race
That's
was held.
almost exactly a month ago.
Exactly a month.
Exactly
so
right.
we'll see if there's a big difference between then and now. But tough task today against Jackie's Warrior.
Yeah, look, if Jackie's Warrior doesn't win, and if he doesn't run first, second, or third, people are called bridge jumpers, Neil. When the horse they bet all that money to show, they jump off a bridge. Hopefully that does not happen. There are no bridges real close to Parks here, but yeah, Jackie's Warrior is supposed to win.
It's not a big field, only 5 horses, so they're now all getting into the gate, and let's send it upstairs. We've got Chris Griffin here on the call for Parks Racing. This is the
Jackie's
Gallant
Warrior.
Bob.
Only 3 more races to go.
All in line. All set. And they're off. Real Talk flew out of the gate. Has got speed to the inside. Jackie's Warrior is hard set. Going to settle off of them as Baron. These are the top 3. Picking Time and Awesome Jerry at the back of the field. No easy leads. Real Talk takes it right to the big favorite, Jackie's Warrior, and Jackie's Warrior now assumes command. Has got a head in front. Real Talk not going anywhere, and they fly early. Baron gets a nice trip there in third with 4 furlongs left to travel. Picking Time, Awesome Jerry. At the back of the field, 21-4. They zip through that opening quarter mile. Jackie's Warrior now dispatches of Real Talk, who's back to second. Baron's under a full drive. Picking Time, second to last. Awesome Jerry is 10 off the lead. Jackie's Warrior is in hand. It's got a 3-length cushion. Picking Time is making up late ground with Baron as they dive down to the inside. And they are trying to catch the champ. It's Jackie's Warrior at the top of the stretch. Jackie's Warrior hasn't even been asked yet. Is approaching the 8th pole. Picking Time, Real Talk. Jackie's Warrior has a 5-length cushion. Picking Time has taken second, but an absolute superstar. Geared down, wins the Gallant Bob with ease. It's Jackie's Warrior. Picking Time gets second, then Real Talk. 1 minute, 8 and 3.
So Jackie's Warrior with ease is the way Chris Griffin said it, and indeed it was with ease.
Yeah, look, Ricardo Santana was Joe Rosario was just sitting there relaxed, never in doubt here. 21-4, Neil, 44 to the half, 108-3, eased up. He is going to be one of the, if not the favorite for the Breeders' Cup Sprint at Del Mar. And what Steve Asmussen and his team wanted, and here's Jackie's Warrior, the 7 in front here, about 5 lengths at this point, and the race is over. It's just a question of what the final time is going to be in the margins. What he was hoping for was a real easy final prep race 6 weeks out from the Breeders' Cup, and that's exactly what he got. He was in against straight 3-year-olds. In the next race, he'll be in against older horses, faster horses. Unfortunately, his stablemate Yopan just got hurt, so he won't make it. But boy, Jackie's Warrior, now he's 8 for 9 with a neck loss in one-turn races. He is going to be very difficult to beat at Del Mar.
Now, I think we should point out a little bit more about this, the fact that these horses are getting ready for the Breeders' Cup.
Correct.
Because the date of the Pennsylvania Derby now is really set up perfectly to prepare these horses for the Breeders' Cup.
That was really the genius behind moving the PA Derby to late September, September 25th this year, and then putting the Cotillion on the same card, because that's a prep for the Breeders' Cup Distaff. You got the Gallant Bob, which is a prep for the Breeders' Cup Sprint, the Turf Monster. So yes, the timing is perfect.
Timing's perfect, but it was all Jackie's Warrior in the Gallant Bob. We'll have the winner and head to the winner's circle in just a moment.
This football season, bet online with a name you trust. Parks Casino and Sportsbook, the #1 casino in Pennsylvania. Parks Sportsbook app has easy deposit methods, fast payouts, great odds, and outstanding customer service. Now offering a free $50 sportsbook bet for a limited time. That's right, $50 free bet for all new customers. No deposit required. Download the app or go to pa.parkscasino.com and use the promo code GAME. Parks Sportsbook, bet with the home team.
Well, coming into the winner's circle, Jackie's Warrior. You see there Steve Asmussen. We've talked about the Hall of Fame trainer. He's got a great horse.
Yeah, it's a great combination. He and Joel Rosario. We mentioned Joel's having such a great year. And Steve is just on an unbelievable roll. He set the record at Saratoga, was winning grade 1s every other week, sometimes 2 in the same day.
And as we saw Steve walk by, he had a big, huge smile.
Of course.
You know, and you should. Jackie's Warrior.
Indeed.
I would smile too. Let's go to Kate right now with Steve Asmussen.
Well, there's been a lot to smile about for Steve Asmussen, but certainly Jackie's Warrior and performances like that give you a lot to celebrate, Steve.
Very much. He's just such a special horse, and just love to watch him run like that.
He makes it look so easy, but he brings it every single solitary time.
He's just a wonderful horse. He's obviously extremely talented, but he brings a level of class with it, and his demeanor's just hard to beat. So obviously we're very proud of his race today and very lucky to have him.
The plan from here on to the Breeders' Cup?
He flies from Newark on Tuesday straight to Santa Anita to prepare for the Breeders' Cup.
You, however, cannot rest. A couple more big races coming up, and Clarier coming up in the Cotillion, as well as Midnight Bourbon in the Pennsylvania Derby. Races that have been very good to Steve Asmussen in the past. Clarier coming into the race, looking to get back into the winner's circle. She certainly butted heads with some of the very best in the division. I'm curious, that race does not have a lot of early speed in it, and her style tends to be to come from a little bit off of it. How concerned, if at all, are you about that?
Well, as you mentioned, she's kept very good company all year. You know, she's with as good a bred filly as you can possibly be. Her mother being cavorting, and I think she'll be up to the task today.
And Midnight Bourbon in the Pennsylvania Derby has been a little bit of a project as far as his attitude and mannerisms, but in talking to your assistant Scott Blasi, he said it looks like so far those problems have kind of been behind him.
Well, I think when we first showed up for the Derby, that he hadn't run where there was a crowd, you know. So I think during the Derby and the preparation for that, he was a bit caught off guard, but everything's been perfect since then.
There's been a lot of talk about pace in the Pennsylvania Derby. Where would you like to see him?
Just comfortable. You know, I mean, I think he ran a great race in the Travers. He was comfortable, you know, and hopefully he's away from the gates cleanly. Hits that big, beautiful stride of his and does his best.
In the meantime, off to a good start with that victory by Jackie's Warrior. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
It's very hard to top the kind of year Steve Asmussen has had. He is already a Hall of Famer, but this is one certainly for the record books, guys.
And not done. Jackie's Warrior took care of business, pays $210.
We said that all the money and the show price. We said how much the source had. I bet $391,000 out of $418,000 in the show pool. No bridge jumpers today.
You know, in sports sticks, sometimes the favorite doesn't always come through in flying colors. Jackie's Warrior came through in flying colors.
Dominated from start to finish.
Absolutely. More racing straight ahead.
Welcome back. I'm Kelsey Fabian. We are at Parks Casino. We've been hanging out in the Picnic Grove area talking to fans about how much fun they're having, but we're making a special stop because we want to learn about some of the other cool things that you can do while you're here at the Pennsylvania Derby. So we've got Ashley Eisenbiel here with us, and she's with the Pennsylvania Horse Racing Association. Tell us what we got going on behind us.
We have our virtual reality simulators. It's a really great experience to get fans up on a horse and seeing what the jockeys see during a race. So it's been great. It's been great today. Super popular.
So through those glasses, those goggles, you're seeing what it's like to actually be a jockey.
Yes. So you are in a race. It's actually at Penn National. We filmed them. So cool. You are the jockey, and you don't know who you're gonna win. If you're gonna win, have a couple different videos. So everyone gets to experience something different.
And you can tell she's having a lot of fun on it. I also like that she has no idea that we're watching her or can see her, but she's having a blast. So who can ride this? Kids, adults, anyone?
So over 12 years old to do the VR goggles, but a little kid, we'll definitely let them sit down here and have the experience of the motion of what a horse would feel like running.
And tell us a little bit about the Pennsylvania Horse Racing Association.
So our association is horse racing in Pennsylvania, both harness thoroughbred and breeding, and we just want to grow the sport, grow the fans, bring people out, be able to take this out to events that aren't at the track, and hopefully entice people to come to the track then.
And it's so fun. It's a great thing to do in between races. You want to bring your kids to it, jump on it yourself. Awesome. Love it. Thank you so much, Ashley.
Thank you.
All right, so I'm going to send it back to you guys because I might want to hop on this next. So I'll send it to you.
All right, well, don't get hurt, Kelsey. Don't get hurt. Look at the masses here today. Racing all day here at Parks. We've shown you 2 races live, and we want to take you back to earlier this afternoon when the 1.5 mile, the Greenwood Cup. And let's take you down the stretch, Dick, because a couple of local horses were competing neck and neck.
No question. The 7 is Sheer Flattery, trained by Lou Linder. It takes the lead, and then the 9 comes and goes by him, Last Samurai. But look on the far outside, Neil. That's the 4, Magic Michael, trained by 2-time leading trainer here, Jamie Ness, is going to get this thing right at the wire, 9-2. Jamie claimed this horse November of 2020 at Churchill Downs for $30,000. Jamie at this meet is already over 128 wins and only the second ever graded stakes win. Magic Michael was 9-2, paid $11 to win. And that's Lou Linder again, local guy who finished 3rd with Sheer Flattery.
So a big field, 9 horses for us here at least this afternoon, and it was it was fun to see a couple local horses going down the stretch.
Jamie Ness has really dominated for 2 straight years here, Neil. It's funny, when he walked by us, I said, Jamie, wasn't that just your second graded stake win? He said it was. He said, no, I doubled my total. So yeah, what a run he's had.
Yeah, so great racing. And racing started here. What time did they start here today? What time?
12:05,
right? 12:05.
Yep, 12:05.
So
We've been at it for a while.
Full day of racing. So now we've taken you to 2 live races, another one on tape.
coming
and then
up.
We've got the Cotillion and the Pennsylvania Derby. Those
Yep.
are the 2 biggies. $1 million purse in each of those races. We'll have those for you coming up here. Again, it's Pennsylvania Derby Day here at Parks Racing in Bensalem, Pennsylvania. A lot ahead as we take you for one more hour here from Bensalem.
Here in Pennsylvania, we're proud of our breeding program, the best in North America. But we're also proud to be leaders in this industry. The PA Horse Breeders Association is funding cutting-edge research at Penn Vet to detect gene doping in thoroughbreds. And we endorsed the SAFE Act to help end the slaughter of American horses. Plus, we're pleased to support the aftercare programs set up by our horsemen's groups. Just a few of the reasons why you should join us in Pennsylvania, the premier place to breed and race.
Another hour of racing at Parks Racing in Bensalem, Pennsylvania. It is Pennsylvania Derby Day. We've got the Pennsylvania Derby coming up, but up next it's the $1 million Cotillion, the Cotillion Stakes, 1 mile and 16th, the 52nd running of the Cotillion. And Dick, here is a look at the field.
Right, so obligatory, trained by the Hall of Famer Bill Mott, ridden by the great Jose Ortiz, is 7-2 at this moment. Maracuja won the Grade 1 CCA Oaks at 6-1, ridden by all-time great here, Kendrick Carmouche here at Parks. Army Wife is the favorite at the moment, Neil, at 2-1 for Joel Rosario. Won the Black-Eyed Susan at Pimlico the day before the Preakness. Those odds have actually flipped. Right now she's 5-2. Co-favorite with Clariere, you see there. That's the Asmussen-Santana combination, which has been so deadly. And always Karina, Johnny Velasquez, Chad Brown. On paper, Neil, she is the lone speed in this race. She is going to be dangerous, but we got a really good field. This is Maracuja, the CCA Oaks winner. Just in and out, Neil. You're not quite sure what you're getting at the moment. She's 7-1. When she's good, like in the CCA Oaks, she was really good. She beat Malathat. It was the Kentucky Oaks winner. It's the only loss Malathat has ever had. And Maracuja, you see her in the shadow right there. The Malathat is on the rail in the blue silks. She's the heavy favorite, and she's been in front from the start. It's really not the style she wants. Notice she's 1-5, the one horse. Here comes Maracuja rolling on the outside. This is Ricardo Santana rode him that day. It will be Kendrick Carmouche today, but right at the wire, Maracuja, the biggest win of trainer Rob Atris's career for sure.
So Maracuja is one horse we will be watching her closely here in this race. Let's talk about
and she's ridden by Kendrick Carmouche, and I want to mention him, Neil. He is absolutely one of the best ever here, 3,400 career wins, and I'm going to tell you, he may be the single most positive human being on planet Earth. What a great guy he is, and a great rider.
So I was going to talk about one of the local trainers, John Service. We all know about John Service, 2004, Smarty Jones, made Philadelphia Park famous. Now it's Parks Racing, of course. But as leader of the band, tell us about leader of the band.
Right, she won the Monmouth Oaks. This is a great story. Will Schwartz, the owner, claimed the damn catsuit for $32,000 back in 2004, right during the Smarty Jones thing. She was ridden in her last 3 career starts, catsuit, the mare, by a 5-pound apprentice named Frankie Pennington. 17 years later, Frankie Pennington will be riding the daughter of Catsuit, leader of the band in the Cotillion today.
Let's learn more about leader of the band. Danny Gibson has more on John Service and leader of the band.
Trainer John Service will be back in the spotlight with Pennsylvania-bred filly leader of the band in the Grade 1 $1 million Cotillion Stakes for 3-year-old fillies.
Here's leader of the band and Frankie Pennington with a powerful burst. And leader of the band wins the Monmouth Oaks.
Service is no stranger to the big stage, and he sets out to win another Cotillion. He won this race back in 2000 with Jostle.
Yeah, I mean, at the time, that was my best horse ever. So it was a pretty exciting ride, you know, coming from the coaching club in the Alabama and then getting to come home to the Cotillion.
And it is Jostle who is the real deal here.
Monmouth Oaks winner, leader of the band, will again be ridden by jockey Frankie Pennington. He and trainer John Service will team up for their biggest win yet, as they've had a great partnership here at Parks Racing through the years. The Cotillion is a race they really want to win together.
I mean, it would mean everything. Not only do I ride for John, he's a good friend of mine too. So to win for a good friend and a good trainer, I mean, it's all around great.
He's ridden leader of the band in all but I think 2 of her starts, so he knows her very well, and he knows what we're up against, and it's good to have somebody on her that knows her.
Leader of the band is owned and bred by SMD Limited of Will Schwartz, who has been with Service for many years. Leader of the band has been an impressive 1st, 2nd, or 3rd in all 8 of her starts. With her hard-charging closing style, she will be rewarded if the pace is hot up front in the mile and 16th race.
Because she's such a deep closer now, and she's just started doing that after we stretched her out. It was crazy because she showed speed sprinting, and then once we stretched her out, she started, you know, backing off the pace. So he's going to have a clean trip, hopefully be able to save some ground. You know, these are by far the best horses she's run against, so she's going to have things her way, hopefully.
It's going to be unbelievable to get the ride for John Service, and that filly, she's such a nice filly and tries hard every time. It's going to be a great experience.
No doubt John Service will want to put another big sign on Barn 8. I'm Danny Gibson.
I have spent many a time, I've spent many a days in that barn back there and with John Service, and what a wonderful representative he has been for this sport.
Yeah, of course, he was in the inaugural Hall of Fame class here at Parks. 33 graded stakes winners, $64 million in earnings, and of course the greatest Pennsylvania bred of all. And we're all getting old. The now 20-year-old Smarty Jones. And this is a wild story with this leader of the band. They actually bred her, the mare, Catsuit, to a wrong stallion one year. They didn't realize it. They switched halters. The name of the horse after he was born, Ill Conceived, by owner Will Schwartz. Horse actually turned out to be okay. But yeah, it's a good story. Leader of the band is up against some of the best, but she's a pretty neat horse in her own right.
Yeah, it's a great local story for
Indeed.
Sure. But Army's Wife is the one that we're going to keep our eye on in this race, the Cotillion, the $1 million Cotillion. So let's take a look at Army's Wife a little bit.
Right, so Army Wife and the Black-Eyed Susan, you see again the shadow there. The horse rode the live rail, Neil. Any horse that was on the rail that day was winning on the backstretch, and on the far turn was on the rail, and here just kind of runs away from the field here at the stretch. And that was her best race. She also won the Iowa Oaks. Most recently, she ran really well in the Alabama, and Kirk Wyckoff is her owner, and Maggie's going to catch up with him in a second.
Let's go to Maggie right now. She's got him.
And pleased to be joined with Kirk Wyckoff of Three Diamonds Farm. And Kirk, Army Wife, you know, she was impressive in her Black-Eyed Susan victory. She's been chasing around Malathat, which is always tough to do. She gets a little less ground to cover today, Kirk. Does that play into her favor?
Well, I think she's fine at 1 1/8 or 1 1/4, but she's certainly fast enough to get position here. So, you know, the 1 16th probably brings a couple other horses in the race, but she's got plenty of gas for Joel to get her where he wants her.
Now, as far as the last 5 years, you have been one of the kind of leading owners. You won your first Breeders' Cup race last year, too, in the juvenile turf. You live locally, though, about 20 minutes or so away from the track here. You don't run much here, but would it mean something special to win this Cotillion?
Well, we got a lot of people in Pennsylvania rooting for us. We know all the breeders. That would be fantastic for us because it is so close by, but we've mostly been turf racing people, so it's the odd time we get to run in a grade 1 on dirt.
Well, wishing you the best of luck, and thank you so much for your time, Kurt.
Thank you, Maggie. Appreciate you all.
All right, so we'll see if Army Wife can give the local guy, Kirk Wyckoff, a win here in the Cotillion. Guys.
Beautiful. Here's the post parade for the Cotillion. Number 1, it's obligatory.
Yeah, trained by the Hall of Famer Bill Mott, who won this race in 2003 with Fast Cookie. This filly won the 8 bells, second in the Acorn, and Jose Ortiz, 2,300 wins, Will Rider.
All worthy. Number 2.
Yes, he ran in the August 23rd Charlestown Oaks. Neil was third while really wide on a night where all the horses that were winning were on the rail. This is the Saffie Joseph, Florent Giroux combination.
Number 3, Will's Secret.
Third in the Kentucky Oaks and the Ashland, fourth in the Alabama. She's looking for that breakthrough win for trainer Dallas Stewart. She's ridden by John Court, the veteran. 4,215 wins for John Court.
We have talked about horse number 4, Maracuja.
Right, won the CCA Oaks at 14-1, nowhere to be found in the Alabama. My man Kendrick Carmouche will ride for Rob Atras. Kendrick is now at 3,428 wins and counting.
Another horse we've talked about, Army Wife, number 5.
Having a great 2021. 3 wins, 2 seconds, and 5 starts. Has won over 400,000. She's just tough. She's getting bet right now. She is 5-2.
And Clariere at number 6.
8 for 8 in the top 4. She's running 7 graded stakes. She was steadied in the first turn of the Alabama. Came with a huge late run to be second to the Great Malathaat.
And the current odds at 2-1 for
and
Clariere.
Steve Asmussen has won this race 3 times in the last decade.
Number 8, Always Karina.
I think she is stone cold lone speed here, Neil. There isn't another horse in the race with her kind of early speed. She's only got 4 starts, but she may have a big move in her, and Johnny V rides Johnny Velasquez.
And John Service's horse, leader of the band at number 9.
Yeah, really could use a hot pace up top, and I don't see that circumstance. We mentioned John, what a great run he's had here at Parks, and nationally, he's won Breeders' Cup races, he's won the Kentucky Oaks, and of course he won the Derby and the Preakness in 2004 with the great Smarty Jones.
This is a grade 1 race, 1 1/16 mile. The Cotillion, the purse is $1 million for fillies 3 years old. It is coming up next, the Cotillion from Parks Racing. It's race 11 on a 13-day race card here at Parks Racing. It is the $1 million Cotillion Stakes, and here are the current odds.
So obligatory 7-2 the 1. Clariere, the slight favorite, Neil, at this point at 2-1. Army Wife, your second choice at 5-2.
So how do we see this race unfolding here today? I think this is something that we want to check. I'll tell you what, I was going to check in with Chris Griffin, but he's getting ready to call the race.
Yeah,
so right now,
they're loading. Yeah, again, always Karina should be in front, the Chad Brown filly, and I think the other favorites are going to be in the vicinity. Neil, Clariere is probably the best deep closer in the race.
So this is a race that we're looking forward to with 8 horses in the field. And Dick, is there a sleeper from your perspective?
Yeah, I don't think so. I think one of the obvious horses is going to win this thing. I mean, it'd be great if leader of the band could get there. She would be the sleeper. She's 17-1. She's 7-2 for John Service.
All right, so
17-1. I had it right the first time.
17-1. Okay, 17-1. So let's check in now. Chris Griffin's got the call here of the race.
All in line. All set for the Grade 1 Cotillion. And they're off and squeezed at the start. There was Will's Secret, a slight stumble from Maracuja. Obligatory's got early speed to the inside, and here comes Always Karina. These two into that first turn. Army Wife is going to track in third. It's Always Karina on an easy lead, is in the 3 path, will cross over and takes the front. Obligatory wants to tip to the outside for clear running room. Just checking there was Army Wife, who shuffled back to 5th. Saving ground to the rail. That's Maracuja. So the top 3, it's Always Karina, Obligatory, and Maracuja. In between horses, Allworthy is inside of Army Wife. Another length and a half back to Clairiere, and Clairiere is now settled mid-pack. 2 trailers, Will Secret and Leader of the Band. 24-4, an easy opening quarter here. Always Karina and John Velasquez, they're up by a neck. Obligatory tracking right to her outside in second. Maracuja is called upon to move a bit forward there in third. Allworthy's in fourth. Touch wide for Army Wife. No move yet from Clairiere. Will Secret and Leader of the Band. 49-3 for a half-mile time. It's going to be a sprint for home here. Always Karina, Obligatory, called upon. Maracuja tightly at the rail. Army Wife's in fourth. Clairiere starts to pick up some momentum from the back of the field as well, with Will Secret, Leader of the Band, as Allworthy is backed out of it. Less than a quarter mile to go. It's still Always Karina in front. Maracuja's got room to the inside. Obligatory 3 wide, and Clairiere is going to make it 4 across the racetrack here. Down to the inside, Maracuja, but Clairiere now with an 8th to go is kicked on. It's Clairiere in front. Obligatory, Army Wife in between runners. Clairiere is opening up, and Clairiere will win the Cotillion. Clairiere gets it. Obligatory, Army Wife, and Maracuja in 1 minute 44-1.
Clairiere comes up with the win, and Dick, Clairiere came down strong down the stretch.
She did. She's the best closer in the field. She proved it. Steve Asmussen, again, Neil, he has won this race 4 times in the last decade. 2012 by Miss Aurelia, 2014 Untappable, 2018 on the DQ of Monomoy Girl. Midnight Bizou was put up, and here he is again with Clairiere, who's run, as we said, one great race after another. She's here on the far outside. She's the 5-2. And she just rolls by a really, what on paper looked like a very competitive field, and she ends up winning this thing clear. This is a good 3 lengths at the wire.
Ricardo Santana Jr. on board again with Clairiere. It's been a good day for Ricardo.
Yeah, I mean, again, Asmussen and Ricardo have had a great run now for years, and the Saratoga meet they had was phenomenal, and it's continuing here today at Parks. It wasn't that combination that won the Gallant Bob. It was Rosario and Asmussen, but this time it's Asmussen and Santana. Steve wins another one, another grade 1, the Cotillion, for the 4th time in a decade.
So we will have the official results when we come back. The Cotillion, though, for now, it is Clairiere taking home the $1 million grade 1 Cotillion Stakes.
Here in Pennsylvania, we're proud of our breeding program, the best in North America, but we're also proud to be leaders in this industry. The PA Horse Breeders Association is funding cutting-edge research at Penn Vet to detect gene doping in thoroughbreds. And we endorsed the SAFE Act to help end the slaughter of American horses. Plus, we're pleased to support the aftercare programs set up by our horsemen's groups. Just a few of the reasons why you should join us in Pennsylvania, the premier place to breed and race.
So a good day for Steve Asmussen, the trainer for Clairiere. One earlier in the Gallant Bob with Jackie's Warrior, so really good day for the Hall of Fame trainer.
And he's got Midnight Bourbon coming up, and boy, Clairiere just never ran a bad race all year long. 2nd at the Alabama, 3rd at CCA Oaks, 3rd to Mother Goose, 4th at the Kentucky Oaks. Finally got a big one, and she closed into a slow fractions in here, Neil. 49 3 to the half. That's how cool she is. She had trouble in the Alabama, no trouble today, rolling right down the center of the track.
What a feeling it must be to be in that winner's circle time and time again. But the gentleman right there just walked by your screen in the blue shirt. That's Steve Asmussen, who we interviewed earlier. But again, let's take a look at the finish. We'll start with the start of the race, and then we'll go down to the finish.
Right at the break. Now, Clairiere, remember, the winner is the 6. Got bumped a little bit right there, and those are the famous silks of Stone Street Stables. Barbara Banke, who had the great Curlin, and Rachel Alexander. Again, you see Clairiere there. I don't know what, about 4th in that spot as they're heading into the first turn, 4th or 5th, and just the whole race, she was always in a perfect position. And Ricardo Santana is one of the great position riders in the sport, Neil. He's just always where you want your horse to be. And here they come out of the final turn, and she's widest of all. You can see those Stone Street gold burgundy silks. And man, as I said, they win a lot of big races. And here's another one. Clariere is going to roll by, and she is a daughter of the great two-time Horse of the Year, Curlin, wins the Cotillion for Asmussen, Santana, and Stone Street Stakes.
Santana in 2013 won his first career graded stakes.
Yeah, how about that? And since then he's over 1,600 wins. He's really one of the best jockeys in the country. Doesn't get the pub others do, but he and Steve had a great thing going.
Well, let's talk about that, the relationship between trainer and jockey.
Yeah, I mean, it's huge because a lot of times they'll work the horses for them in the morning to get a better sense of what they have. And I think it's a trust factor between jockeys and trainers. And when the trainer, when they have instructions or they talk about strategy or what are we talking about, and when they're in sync, and you obviously have to have the horse. It's called horse racing for a reason. The jockeys and the trainers can only do so much, but these two just have it, Neil, and they're going to be very dangerous in 6 weeks in a number of the races at the Breeders' Cup.
So we still have the Pennsylvania Derby ahead,
yes,
and Steve Asmussen has a
Midnight
horse.
Bourbon.
Midnight Bourbon.
Dangerous.
For sure.
So
we've talked about Ricardo Santana Jr. Yep. Let's go to Kate right now with Ricardo.
Ricardo, she finished just full of run, a beautiful race. Talk me through the stretch, though. Were you feeling pretty confident?
Well, this is the feeling that I know since she got her for work in Churchill. And I brought her mating. She's such a sweetheart. And we have a lot of confidence in her. The boss told me, say, Ricky, look, the filly, she needed to relax in the first couple bars. She's a good closer. And today she broke good. She broke better than I thought today. And I don't even send her. I was just follow the 5. And turf for home. As soon as I took him on the 3A, I can tell I got so much horse, and I wait to turf for home. When I ask her, she keep going pretty well.
It's been a nice day so far with a couple of big stakes wins, but one more to go with Midnight Bourbon and a very different type of horse. He's got some early speed, and you are to the outside of anybody else that's going to go to the front. So talk me through the strategy.
Well, I can tell you what I'm going to do in the race, and I have a lot of confidence in the horse. He run big in the Travis. I was working the horse. I always work the horse. He's already such a sweet horse. He let it do whatever you want to, and I think we got perfect post today. And I pray to God that I got safe trip, and he gonna do the rest.
Hopefully one more. In the meantime, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Top performance in the Cotillion for Ricardo Santana, and he hopes for one more coming up in the Pennsylvania Derby.
Yeah, second win on the day for Ricardo Santana, although Hollywood Talent, when he won the Turf Monster earlier, was 109-1.
Right, Clariere was 5-2 at 720 to win. Obligatory, you see Second Army won. The 3 horses that were the most logical ran 1, 2, 3. Maybe not, it was hard to figure out the order, but yeah, Clariere deserved to win one of these big ones, and she got a big one today, Neil.
So a big one, but the big race that we've all been waiting for is the Pennsylvania Derby.
Indeed.
That is the race coming up next. You heard talking about Midnight Bourbon just a moment ago by Ricardo, and your sense now as we get ready for that race?
On paper, it's Midnight Bourbon and Hot Rod Charlie. They're the most accomplished horses. There are other horses with a chance, but on paper, it's those two. One of them is likely to win it.
All right, so we're about 25 minutes away from post for that. But right now, everybody's enjoying themselves. It's been a fun day of racing here at Parks Racing. The Pennsylvania Derby preview is coming up next.
Welcome back. We are live at Parks Casino. We are in the Picnic Grove area, just enjoying this perfect weather we are having today. And we're checking out and talking to fans, seeing how much fun they are having. And let me tell you, they're having fun. So we've got a crowd right here that we want to chat with. So we've got Kelly, D, Steve.
That's correct.
Okay, so tell us, are you having fun?
Oh, having a blast. What a great day. Beautiful weather.
You couldn't have asked for better weather.
We're not winning, but we're having fun.
Oh, no, you're not winning. So you're putting in a lot of bets, though.
We are spending a lot of money.
We put all our bets in real fast, real slow, same.
What time did you guys get here?
We got here at like 3 o'clock late, but it's so much fun. You guys, you have to come here.
Better late than never. You're never too late. It's perfect. So tell us, is this a tradition? You guys do this a lot? Is this...
The last time we were here, the kids were little, though. Yeah.
and we took them on all the rides. But now they're all older, so now the adults could play.
Oh, so this is just adult time. Really, truly enjoying it.
Exactly. Today is adults.
Do you have someone on your mind that you're betting on?
Yeah. We're over the 7-8 right now on the Pennsylvania Derby, so we'll see what happens.
7-8. Well, I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you very much.
So you heard them. It's never too late to come down. Everyone's having a blast. It's perfect weather. We're just enjoying the day, and so is everyone here. We have an outstanding crowd. So many people here this afternoon or this evening. I'm going to send it back to you guys. Crowd's getting a little rowdy back here.
Well, they should be. It's been a fun day at the Picnic Grove here at Parks Racing in Bensalem. Up next, it is the 1.1 miles of the Pennsylvania Derby, the Grade 1 purse of $1 million, big payday for 3-year-olds. Dick, it's a field of 8 horses, and we've got some good ones.
Yeah, Folsom is 24-1. If he wins this, $50,000 bonus for the trainer and the owner, and I certainly know the owners need $50,000. They really need more money. Brad Cox would be happy to get it. He won the Smarty Jones, and there's a bonus involved. Speaker's Corner 7-1 for Bill Mott, Jose Ortiz. We mentioned him. He's a hot horse, Neil. The question is he good enough to take on some of the best 3-year-olds in the country, which we certainly have in this field. I Am Redeemed is local at 14-1. The 5-horse, Wayburn Paco Lopez, 30-1. Bourbonic at 25-1. That's Kendrick Carmouche. Won the Wood Memorial at 72-1. Hot Rod Charlie, your 3-5 favorite. Midnight Bourbon, Asmussen, Santana again, 7-2. American Revolution, you see there at 9-1. Hot Rod Charlie this year's third win, second win, and DQ'd from the Haskell. He finished first. Doug O'Neill said he'd love to have an easy lead here. Here's Hot Rod, and he's still wondering what happened to his bank account after the Haskell. They were looking for that $600,000. His last work on September 17th at Santa Anita, 7/8. It was dazzling, Neil. I watched it the other day. I said, whoa. But he's 3-5 because he's going to win. Yeah, he's going to win one of these big ones. Maybe it's today.
Yeah, we have, again, 2 of the fastest and best 3-year-olds in the country here today at Parks, and it's a terrific field. Let's check in with track announcer Chris Griffin with more on the Pennsylvania Derby.
If any horse is due to win a Grade 1 race, it's Hot Rod Charlie. He hit the wire first in his last start in the Grade 1 Haskell, but was quickly taken down and placed last for interference in the stretch.
It's Hot Rod Charlie, Mandalone, Hot Rod Charlie, here's the line, photo finish.
It was Hot Rod's 4th attempt at a Grade 1. Talk about a hard luck horse.
So excited, and then to all of a sudden hear that that incident happened. Yeah, it was a wild ride, but fortunately no horses or humans got hurt, so we're looking forward to just moving on at this point.
The son of Oxbow began his racing career on the dirt, but soon O'Neill decided to try the turf. After a pair of losses on the grass, it was back on the Santa Anita dirt, where he finally broke his maiden. The win was not spectacular, but showed some promise, and by the fall, Hot Rod Charlie was training well enough for O'Neill to go for the glory in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, where he ran a spectacular second to Essential Quality at 94-1.
Here's Hot Rod Charlie, a huge long shot at 94-1.
He came in being a half to Matoli, and he's such a good-looking individual, and the owners paid pretty good money for him as a yearling that, we were definitely pretty excited about him before he ever debuted. Just through with maturity, and then when he broke his maiden, when we stretched him out, added the blinkers, it just really seemed like we were on to what we were hoping for.
The Kentucky Derby was now on the mind of O'Neill and his connections. The road to the Roses began with a 3rd-place finish in the Robert B. Lewis to Medina Spirit.
Medina Spirit and Hot Rod Charlie, what a game victory.
Hot Rod was getting better with every race. Next up, the Grade 2 Louisiana Derby, where he finally showed he was one of the best 3-year-olds in the country.
Hot Rod Charlie just holds Midnight Bourbon, and rattling home is El Besos. It's Hot Rod Charlie to win.
That was awesome. Yeah, Joel Rosario, he had called me that morning and said, God, I don't think there's a lot of speed in here. I might send him along. You okay with that? And I said, of course, whatever you think.
After a 3rd-place finish in the Derby and a 2nd-place finish in the Belmont Stakes, Hot Rod Charlie was proving he was one tough racehorse.
One of Charlie's main assets, he's got good speed away from the gate, so Flavian's such a world-class rider. I'm imagining he'll do whatever he wants to do and however the race unfolds, but I'm imagining that we'll be forwardly placed, and Flavien will just play the pace.
Hot Rod Charlie is in good company. He travels with the famous Hall of Famer Lava Man, who is his pony. Lava Man knows all about grade ones. The California bred won 7 of them with $5.2 million in earnings.
So Hot Rod Charlie finishing 3rd in the Kentucky Derby, 2nd at the Belmont. Let's take everyone back to Belmont, Dick, and what happened there back in June.
Yeah, he ran an incredible race, Neil. He's been a hard luck horse all year, and maybe the Belmont in many ways. Here's Hot Rod. He's in front, and he's been under duress the whole time. You can see he's just getting hounded. And here comes Essential Quality, the 2-year-old champ, to come running by him and barely gets by him. What you didn't see was early in the race when Hot Rod, through hot fractions, had a battle the whole way. Essential Quality got to relax. And if you see the 3rd horse is 11 lengths back. This in many ways was Hot Rod Charlie's best race. He lost to the 2-year-old champ, the leader in the 3-year-old division, but what a great effort. Then he came back, finished 1st at the Haskell, and we know what happened there. Finished 1st, disqualified the last.
So finishing 2nd in the Preakness was Midnight Bourbon. I think we should talk a little bit about Midnight Bourbon, because also I know Maggie wants to talk a little bit about Midnight Bourbon. But first, Dick, just your thoughts on Midnight Bourbon.
Right, he had a brutal trip in a totally brutal trip in the Kentucky Derby. Had absolutely no chance. And again, Steve is desperate to win. Steve Asmussen wants to win the Kentucky Derby. He's now 0 for 23. It doesn't mean he's not one of the best around. He is one of the best around. He'll win his Derby some year. Here's the Travers. And Midnight Bourbon is in front. And there is that horse again. He just keeps showing up here. That's Essential Quality. It battling with Midnight Bourbon. This was Midnight Bourbon's the race of his life. Now, he was the only speed. It worked out good. It was a good setup for him, but he never gives up. And like a lot of the Asmussen 3-year-olds, he's getting better late in the year, but there is that horse again, Essential Quality, to beat Midnight Bourbon, just like he did Hot Rod Charlie.
So I tell you what, let's check in now with Maggie. Maggie, more on Midnight Bourbon, because a horse that we've certainly talked a lot about, and we're looking forward to seeing Midnight Bourbon against Hot Rod Charlie.
Absolutely.
Maggie?
Yeah, that rematch and seeing what they can do against each other with a fairly run race. But you guys mentioned the Kentucky Derby, and Midnight Bourbon gained the moniker the bad boy of Kentucky Derby week as he got loose. He ran around the barn area, and since then, Steve Asmussen and his team, including assistant trainer Scott Blasi, have worked tirelessly and at schooling this horse and working on his behavior. Now, if you can look over my shoulder here, you see the pony actually standing in front of Midnight Bourbon's stall. Scott Blasi is on his head. Steve Asmussen has not really left his side much. He is behaving beautifully though, guys. He, as his connections have said, has really turned a corner mentally, and from my observations, has really turned a corner physically. He's really developed from a boy to a man. Guys?
Yeah, this is going to be fun, Maggie. Thank you. Hot Rod Charlie against Midnight Bourbon, going mano a mano, right?
Yeah, and they're both going to be out there near the front, Neil. It's not, they're not, one's not coming from the back or the other one. They have similar kind of running styles. The jockeys will be a huge factor in how this race is run today.
So let's talk about what's being wagered on this race.
Yes.
This is big for Parks Racing, for Pennsylvania Racing. It's the Pennsylvania Derby.
It is, and I think, is it possible we have a celebrity handicapper in a winter circle with Caden? That's my understanding.
Yeah.
The orthodontist of the stars is my understanding. Is that accurate?
Let's check in with Caden on that.
Oh, not just any celebrity handicapper, but our own celebrity handicapper and orthodontist and horse owner and racing enthusiast. In fact, he actually, I'm told, skipped orthodontistry school to be here at Parks at the races, and you're proud of it, Dr. Steve Appel. Is that not true?
I am. That was opening day here in November 1974.
Well, fair enough. We gave you extra time to study on this Pennsylvania Derby to give us your selection, so let's have it.
Well, I narrowed it down to the 7, 8, and 10 here. But, since we're outside of Philadelphia, the Cradle of Liberty, I'm going with number 10, American Revolution. He's only run 4 times. He's got 3 wins, and every race seems to be a little bit faster than the previous one. If he's got one more forward jump in him, I think he can upset these horses at 9-1.
It is a nice price, and we appreciate it. Right now, let's check in with Maggie.
Please be joined here by Flavien Prat, who will be aboard Hot Rod Charlie. And Flavien, game plan. He is the horse that has some early speed. Midnight Bourbon to your outside has some too. Also, Weyburn could show some early foot. How do you play the break?
Well, we're gonna see how we break and go from there. But I mean, usually he has quite a bit of speed, so we're gonna see what happens out of the gate.
And do you think he is a horse that is best on the front or when he has a target?
He has run good races on the lead and close to the lead. I don't think it really matters.
I'm wishing you the best of luck and a safe trip.
Thank you.
All right, Flavien Prat aboard Hot Rod Charlie. We'll see if he can get the win today, finally.
Yeah, Flavien Prat is the son of a trainer, so this is a family business in many ways.
Yeah, it's interesting, Neil. When I was at the 2019 Breeders' Cup and I got to see Flavien for the first time up close at Santa Anita, boy, was he great, and now the whole country's seeing it. He's in demand for the top trainers.
All right, $1 million, Grade 1, Pennsylvania Derby. It's coming up just moments away. We're looking forward to it. Stay tuned. Parks Racing's biggest event is about to happen. All right, about 8 minutes till post time here with the Pennsylvania Derby, and we're going through the circle right now, the
walking ring.
Yep. And right now, Dick, let's take a look at the current odds.
Yeah, no doubt who the favorite was going to be. Hot Rod Charlie's 3-5. You see Midnight Bourbon, the 8's the second choice at 3-1. Speaker's Corner, we mentioned, lightly raced but very talented at 6. The only other horse in single digits is American Revolution. Dr. Appel's pick at 9-1. Bourbonic Kendrick Carmouche is 25-1. Wayburn is going to, I think, show speed with Paco Lopez from the inside, as Katen mentioned and Maggie mentioned. I think he's out there. Folsom, we talked about, won the Smarty Jones, trying to go for the double and the bonus.
We haven't talked much about Speaker's Corner. Most lightly raced horse in this field. Could that be a factor?
Yeah. He gives away a lot of experience. He had an ankle problem and a virus, but this is a very, very talented horse, Neil.
All right, so the call to the post. We're getting ready for the Pennsylvania Derby, and let's show everybody the field. It's an 8-horse field here at Parks, and we'll begin with number 1, Folsom.
Yeah, Folsom was here at Parks, Neil, back a month ago on the 24th of August. Same combination today. Brad Cox, Florent Giroux, they won a lot of big ones together, and he comes back, tries to do that double. Here's the 3, Speaker's Corner. Bill Mott, the trainer, 5,143 wins. He won the Derby here in 2011 with 2 honor and serve. First time 2 turns, first time in a stakes race. A lot of talent. The 4 is Wayburn. Paco Lopez, over 3,000 wins. Very aggressive rider. Got an inside post, probably be sending, I would think.
Number 5.
The 5 is trained locally here by Penny Pierce, PA bred, won her first stakes race in the Stormcat on PA Day at the races on August 20, in the Stormcat on PA Day at the races August 23rd.
Number 6, Bourbonic.
That's Bourbonic. Won the Wood Memorial, 72-1, 13 the Kentucky Derby. Kendrick Carmouche, trainer Todd Pletcher, 5,185 lifetime wins, first in money.
And there's Hot Rod Charlie.
Yeah, Hot Rod's going to win a big one. Flavien Prat's always in the right spot. He made a great decision on the first turn in the Haskell. This time he's outside. Doug O'Neill's won 2 Kentucky Derbies.
Midnight Bourbon at number 8.
Brutal trip in Kentucky, we mentioned it. Second Louisiana Derby, second in the Preakness, second in the Travers. Steve Asmus has now won the Cotillion 4 times, looking for his first PA Derby win.
And lastly, it's number 10, American Revolution.
Yeah, it's a New York bred. He's winning big. Each race is better. Luis Saez having an incredible year, 2,800 wins. Just he was phenomenal. He's the regular rider for Essential Quality. Todd Pletcher, the trainer, went into the Hall of Fame up in Saratoga this year.
We do not have a Grade 1 winner in this race, so this is what we're looking forward to seeing.
We're going to have one in a few minutes.
In a few minutes we will, and we will have the race for you. The Pennsylvania Derby, Grade 1, $1 million on the line, and it's coming up next.
The Pennsylvania Derby has been brought to you by the Pennsylvania Thoroughbred Horsemen's Association. It's fun to see them run. And by the Pennsylvania Horse Racing Association. What a ride. And by Parks Racing.
Nope.
All right, here's the latest odds now, updated for the Pennsylvania Derby.
Right, not much has changed, Neil. Still the heavy favorite. Hot Rod Charlie at 3-5. Midnight Bourbon, the second choice, just like we thought, at 3-1. Speaker's Corner 5-1, and American Revolution at 8.
Before he calls the race, let's get Chris Griffin on the race.
Yeah, thanks so much. And I'm just wondering what the pace is going to be, right? You take a look at this, no Medina Spirit. I do think the local horse I Am Redeemed is probably going to be up on the early pace. I think it'll be interesting to see if Midnight Bourbon kind of takes it to Hot Rod Charlie and takes it to the favorite and says, let's see what we got into the first turn. It's a 1 1/8. Pretty good run into that first turn, so I'm really looking for some of the tactics early on. And will it set up for some of these big closers like a Bourbonic and a Folsom? It's a great lineup here. We've had a couple of those scratches, but this is an exciting 3-year-old race, $1 million on the line. I'm ready to call this Grade 1 action, and let's find out who's going to win the Pennsylvania Derby.
All right, we'll be back to you in just a moment, Chris. Wayburn right there. Paco Lopez has ridden consistently here at Parks all summer long. What are your thoughts on Wayburn?
Yeah, he's the dominant rider in Monmouth, and as you said, Neil, he's been a regular here at Parks, winning a lot of big races. This horse back in March won the Gotham Stakes at 46-1 and looked like a player. Like maybe he could win bigger races, but he's very inconsistent. 4th in the Wood Memorial, ran really well in the Pegasus to be second to Mandaloon, who was second in the Kentucky Derby. The question is, what are the tactics today for trainer Jimmy Jerkins? I don't think you employ Paco Lopez unless the plan is to send this horse. So I expect to see Wayburn out battling for the lead with Midnight Bourbon and Hot Rod Charlie.
Let's talk a little bit about Folsom. Folsom coming in at the number 1. Give me your thoughts on Folsom.
So again, he won the Smarty Jones here, and there is this $50,000 bonus for any horse that wins the Smarty Jones in the Pennsylvania Derby. Obviously, he's the only horse that can do that this year. And certainly Juddmonte Farms, they need that $50,000, Neil. Like they don't need it. They should donate it to us if the horse wins. But I'm sure Brad Cox would be happy to get 50. Plus the 60 is 10% of the winning purse. Folsom is a long shot. He would have to improve dramatically off his Smarty Jones win. We got an 84 buyer. That's not going to even come close to getting it done today.
Lastly, I want to talk about Speaker's Corner. I brought up Speaker's Corner before. I just, kind of intrigued reading some people's thoughts about Speaker's Corner coming into this Pennsylvania Derby. A lot of people kind of like this horse as a sleeper.
He came out of a really powerhouse maiden race last October at Belmont Park where there were stakes winners all over. Then was off for a long time, had an ankle problem, then a virus, came back, ran gigantic in an allowance race at Saratoga, 14th of August. He's the mystery horse, Neil. We don't quite know, but he's a big talent with just does not have the experience of horses like Hot Rod Charlie, Midnight Bourbon.
Hot Rod Charlie is the favorite, Louisiana Derby winner, looking for first Grade 1 victory. It sets up for just a really dramatic finish here at Parks for a full day of racing.
It does, and if what I saw in that workout that I mentioned, the 7 furlong workout, if that translates to the track today, I do not think they can beat Midnight or Hot Rod Charlie in this race. So yeah, Hot Rod's an odds-on favorite, and again, the workouts tell you a lot, Neil, and it's cool that you can see them now. You don't actually have to be there. It was just one of those ones where you watch it and you go, oh, this horse is going to run huge in his next race. And I'll tell you what, it's one of the reasons Medina Spirit's not here. Bob Baffert saw the workout. Medina Spirit's workout was terrible. Right about the same time, it was the post position. It had nothing to do with it. Medina Spirit wasn't going to be able to beat Hot Rod Charlie today.
So 9 furlongs, Pennsylvania Derby, Grade 1 $1 million race is ready to go. We go to Chris Griffin.
I Am Redeemed. An American Revolution, the last 2 to load. Riders off the 5. Loaded without the rider here. Abner Adorno. American Revolution. All in line. All set for the Grade 1 Pennsylvania Derby. And they're off. Speaker's Corner has early speed. Hot Rod Charlie, Midnight Bourbon, American Revolution. They line up on the front end as they get set to pass the wire for the first time. Hot Rod Charlie has put a neck in front. Midnight Bourbon is going to track right off of the favorite. Then comes American Revolution. Speaker's Corner to the inside. Wayburn is in the yellow cap, is tucked in between rivals, is now challenging for 4th. I Am Redeemed is off the pace with Folsom second to last, and the trailer late running Bourbonic. As they move to the backstretch here in the Pennsylvania Derby, it's Hot Rod Charlie who's got the front, is up by a half length. Midnight Bourbon right there in second. Here comes a move from Wayburn, is in between runners, passes American Revolution, who's out in the center of the racetrack there in fourth. Speaker's Corner is losing some ground. I Am Redeemed, Folsom, and Bourbonic has 12 to make up. Hot Rod Charlie, looking through an opening quarter of 23 and 2. A half-mile time of 47 seconds flat, has less than a half mile to go. It's Hot Rod Charlie into the far turn. Midnight Bourbon has been right there the entire journey in second. Wayburn is now asked the question, American Revolution. Folsom is starting to launch a rally, is still 6 off the lead. They're approaching the quarter-mile pole. Grade 1 glory awaits, and it looks like it's going to be Hot Rod Charlie and Midnight Bourbon to decide it. Drifting a touch was Hot Rod Charlie. Midnight Bourbon comes right after this rival. American Revolution making up late ground from third. An eighth to go. Hot Rod Charlie, Midnight Bourbon, American Revolution, a 16th to go. Hot Rod Charlie is opening up. Hot Rod Charlie will win the Pennsylvania Derby and create a Grade 1 victory.
Grade 1 victory for Hot Rod Charlie, the favorite going into the race. Hot Rod Charlie didn't let up at any point, led almost wire to wire.
He did, Neil. Flavian Pratt couldn't have asked for anything more. He got loose on the lead. It was the two horses we thought. They ran 1-2. Now, at the top of the stretch, Flavian Pratt floated Midnight Bourbon out pretty wide. I don't know if there will be an objection or an inquiry, and I know that's the last thing the Hot Rod Charlie people want to hear about after what happened in Monmouth. I thought, here's the far turn. If you watch Pratt, who's in front on Hot Rod Charlie, Ricardo Santana, see, sort of moves him out a little bit. I think that's just smart race riding. I don't see a foul there. Possible the stewards will take a look at it. I think the best horse won. Hot Rod was going to get his Grade 1. Steve Asmussen almost won all 3 of our live races. Second with Midnight Bourbon, but Hot Rod deserved it. He's been great all year. He got his Grade 1 today.
So
here's this
there
again.
It is again.
It's the head on. So he comes in, that actually makes it look better than the side shot. I don't see an issue, but it'll be interesting when there's $1 million Grade 1 race. It may be that the rider could claim foul. I don't see anything, and frankly, given where we are time-wise, that's the last thing we need right now is an objection.
So Flavian Pratt, son of a trainer, ridden in places like Germany, Italy, his native France, as well as here in the United States.
The inquiry light is up.
It is
meaning
up.
The stewards are looking at what we just saw. They want to have a look, and I suspect that Ricardo Santana may also claim foul, but it's those two. I mean, they ran away from the field. American Revolution was third, but a distant third. The last thing we want for the Hot Rod Charlie people, again, he was the best horse. Midnight Bourbon had all kinds of chances to get by. He could not do it. Doug O'Neill won this race back with Handsome Mike, a huge long shot back a decade ago. Not a long shot today, 4-5 on Hot Rod Charlie. Midnight Bourbon ended up going off at 7-2.
So Hot Rod Charlie, and still an inquiry in on this race, the Pennsylvania Derby,
Now
$1 million at stake.
The objection light, I think if I'm seeing that
It
right.
is correct, yep.
I think I see that up there. So what they're doing, we can see the flashing lights. They're flashing the lights to let everybody know that they're looking at the first 2 finishers. And what would happen if they disqualify this horse, and I hope they don't, the 8 would be the winner, the 2nd would be second, 7 would be second. Here's another look at it. Top of the stretch, Pratt on the 7, Santana on the 8, and I think he just moves out a touch. I think that's just smart race riding. I don't see a foul, and if you think about this deal, Midnight Bourbon has 400 yards to go by this horse, and he can't do it. That to me tells me all I need to know. The best horse was the best horse. The jockeys, it's one of the bizarre things about horse racing, unlike any other sport. The jockeys often get on the phone and talk to the stewards. Could you imagine this? LeBron, did you commit a foul? Talk to the referee. It only happens in horse racing, but they are. I saw there's Doug O'Neill in a shot at Doug again. It's Bill Strauss, one of his owners, right there with the baseball cap waving it around. They're looking around like, wait a second. An hour away at Monmouth Park, this just happened to us. But that, remember, was when Midnight Bourbon fell in the race with Paco Lopez. He didn't fall today.
So now let's just go through the process here. Just to explain what's happening.
This is Ricardo Santana talking to the park stewards on the phone. That's Lou Santoro, the clerk of scales. By the way, a great friend with your buddy Joe Mahalik.
Yep.
So this. Right, so this is what the stewards are seeing. You saw that top of the stretch. Obviously, there's nothing here. It's back beyond this. If anything happened, and we're seeing the head of one, we'll see the shot as they come into the top of the stretch. And in my opinion, again, Pratt, he knows the horse is there. He wants to make him run a little wider. That's smart. There's nothing wrong with that. He didn't take his path away, and I don't see any change. Obviously, the stewards will take a little time to look at it. I've been wrong before on these kind of things, and I hope I'm not wrong.
And again, this is just like replay. When you're watching an official in an NBA game,
exactly right.
That feed that you were seeing there when it was going in reverse, that is exactly what they're looking at. So it's a unique perspective from a viewer's point of view to be able to see what they're actually looking at.
Can you imagine what the owners of Hot Rod Charlie are going through right now? They're saying, well, this just happened. Not again.
Right.
Dave Grenning from the DRF is there talking to Doug O'Neill, and Doug is just hoping these numbers stop blinking. At some point, they'll stop blinking, and he wants the 7 to be in the same place. And unlike any other sport, Neil, when you have a replay situation, like in a baseball game, was it a home run, wasn't it a home run? This is the only sport where it determines the outcome of the event, right? Because it's over. This race is over, and now the stewards are involved deciding, are they going to keep the first 2 finishers in the order that they were? And my theory on this, the objection and the inquiry is, if you've looked at it for 3 or 4 minutes and you can't decide, no change. If it's not obvious to everybody in the house, leave it as it is, which is what I think they will do. And I know Doug O'Neill, there's Bill Strauss, Flavia Pratt. And Flavia, remember, 2 years ago on a horse named Country House in the Kentucky Derby, he finished second and got put up to the Derby win after Maximum Security got disqualified. But the last thing he wants to do is get DQ'd again. Here's Meg.
Thanks, guys. And I did get a chance to catch up with Ricardo Santana aboard Midnight Bourbon. And he said after he got off the phone with the stewards that he felt as though if he didn't correct Midnight Bourbon, because Hot Rod Charlie came in front of him, he was going to clip heels. Now, ultimately, this happened at the head of the stretch. A lot of times we see stewards make these decisions based upon the fact, did it change the outcome? And the fact that Hot Rod Charlie did it there at the head of the stretch and then won by open lengths, Dick, I would say no, this did not change the outcome.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think when you have 400 yards, Maggie, to pass a horse and you can't do it, I think that tells you the right horse should end up being the official winner, but we'll just have to wait and see.
Let me check in with Caton as well, but let's get another perspective on this. Caton, what's your thoughts?
Well, I will say that the longer that the stewards talk about it and debate, the more you wonder if they won't make a decision. I agree with Maggie as far as the outcome is concerned. It doesn't seem to have made a difference as far as the outcome, but there is precedent for making a change on this day. It comes to mind with Monomoy Girl crossing the finish line ahead of Midnight Bisou in the Cotillion. That was a much closer finish, it's worth noting, but Monomoy Girl was a clear winner that day.
It's official.
And it has been made official. Hot Rod Charlie will stay the winner.
Good, as it should be. He was the best horse. You hate to see the best horse ever get taken down, and Flavia Pratt, you can see him there. The relief on his face. There's Bill Strauss, one of the owners, hugging Doug O'Neill.
Yeah, I tell you what, that's
one
tough,
happy group.
That's a tough 4 or 5 minutes or however long that went.
It's your life is flashing.
Yeah.
Not only are the numbers flashing, your life is flashing in front of your eyes because it just happened to you. But it was the right call. Stewards took a look. They got a sense of it. They said, you know what, the best horse won. Just as Maggie and Caton said, no reason to change.
And you can't emphasize enough. First Grade 1 win for Hot Rod Charlie. Let's go to Caton.
I'm walking with Doug O'Neill as he goes to greet his horse as he's coming into the winner's circle. But Doug, got to be some relief there. But they never give it to you easily.
Like Bill Strauss said, yeah, nothing good comes easy when you got $1 million on the line. But just so proud of Hot Rod Charlie and Eddie and Johnny. And I swore I wouldn't cry, so I'm not going to cry. There's no crying in horse racing. But just so emotional to see him win a Grade 1 like this for the group, and Leandro Moore back home. Good stuff.
You earned a good cry after that one. Yeah. Congratulations. Get your picture taken. Well earned.
Thank you.
It's been a long time coming, but that elusive Grade 1 for Hot Rod Charlie and the victory today.
Finished third in the Derby in this year, 2021 with Hot Rod
Second in the
Charlie.
Belmont,
Second in the
won the
Belmont,
Haskell,
won the
DQ'd.
Haskell, and finally gets the win.
Yeah, and look, it was the perfect storm because Wayburn didn't break. He wasn't out there. All of a sudden, Hot Rod's loose in the lead. And Doug O'Neill said in a little press conference yesterday, what's the ideal scenario? Loose on the lead. That's how he won the Louisiana Derby. He doesn't need the lead to win, but when you get it and you're on the best horse, you're not going to lose often. And Hot Rod Charlie didn't come close to losing this race today, except after it was over, possibly, but they left him up as they should have.
Yeah, the winner's circle, always a good place to be. And for Hot Rod Charlie, it is a successful Pennsylvania Derby. $1 million going to Hot Rod Charlie for the win in this Grade 1 Stakes here at Parks Racing. I tell you what, Dick, the tension that you could sense just looking at the whole team that's just waiting for the results.
Yeah, but right, because it's totally out of your hands at that point. You've done everything you can. So Hot Rod Charlie was a 9-10 favorite. It means pays $380 to win. Midnight Bourbon. We thought it was these two, and it was. Midnight Bourbon, a solid second. He gives you a big effort. American Revolution. Third, the 7-8 Exacta for $1 pays $5.40. The two obvious horses ran. Steve Asmussen had a great day. He won 2 of this live stakes, almost won them all. But Doug O'Neill had the best horse, had him right, loved the workout, loved the horse. We'll see them both in the Breeders' Cup Classic probably.
Hot Rod Charlie is the winner of the Pennsylvania Derby, and Clairiere wins the $1 million Cotillion. Those were the two winners here today on a 13-race card here at Parks Racing in Bensalem, Pennsylvania. It was a fun day of racing. Dick Girardi, thank you so much. Enjoyed it thoroughly. And for our entire crew here at Parks Racing, we thank you so much for being with us. And I hope you enjoyed a full day of racing with Hot Rod Charlie, the big winner in the Pennsylvania Derby. I'm Neil Hartman. Have a wonderful evening. Thanks for watching from Parks Racing in Bensalem.